What's happening, YouTube? How are you doing today? My name's Destry. Some people call me D. Close friends call me Dirty. But anyway, I'm coming to you guys today to talk a little bit about hanging out, living in Central America. I've been trying to create this YouTube episode, content, whatever you want to call it, for about 7 years now. But anyway, I first moved to Central America, primarily Costa Rica, in 2018. And it was, at a point in my life where it was like, I need a break, I need a change. And an opportunity presented itself to do a little teaching, down in Costa Rica. I had been teaching in the States for like 12 years or so. And before that, I was into technology for like 20 years. But needed a break. Things were getting a bit hectic, a bit stressful. And any of my fellow teachers out there, you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so around 2016, 17, I kind of made a decision to break away, to, do something different. And I had a friend of mine who was already living in Costa Rica. And mind you, I had visited a few times, sometimes for a weekend, sometimes for a week, and then I would go down there and hang out for like, for the duration of the summer, because as a, teacher, having those summer breaks, really helped to recharge the battery. But after doing it a few times, I was like, you know what, I need a break. And like I say, when the opportunity presented itself, it was like, hey, let me see how this goes. Let me see where this leads. And so, started making arrangements, talked with my kids and made sure they were straight. Started basically getting rid of selling, pretty much everything I had. Whittled it down to about 2 suitcases and 4 little, black and gold little crates, that all I was traveling with, And so when the day finally came, it was a little, excited, but also a little apprehensive because, I'd visited, and lived in other countries before, mainly when I was in the Air Force. Most of the time it was just vacation, so this was like a permanent move that wasn't orchestrated by, the military per se. But anyway, so yeah, moving there, it was a breeze, checked in, flew in, my partner, they picked me up from the airport, got settled in pretty easy. And from that point, it was like, okay, let me see what this, life is all about. Let me see what's going on. Let's see what's happening. Now, culturally, Central America is different from the U.S. The pace of life is a lot slower. And I'm a very patient individual. I don't mind, waiting for things to happen reasonably. But some of the stuff was just, like, okay, why does it take 3 to 4 days to open a banking account? But hey, it is what it is, so you have to adjust. But culturally, like I said, it's different. Costa Rica is not without its issues, but I never saw open racism. Yeah, I know it exists, and as a history major, fine arts major, I know that the history of Costa Rica isn't all rosy and, and everything like people try and paint it out to be. But anyway, but that's another story. So culturally, adjusting to the people, but for the most part, everybody was nice, friendly, outgoing. Like I say, just the pace was slow. But other than that, everything was great. One of the difficult things I would say was probably learning Spanish. You know, because mind you, I was 50, 50-ish when I moved. And even though you're educated, and even as a teacher, learning a second language in your 50s isn't the easiest thing to do. I would say that. Yeah, you do the Duolingo stuff and all that. Yeah. But for the most part, really, it just comes down to interacting with the people. That's all I can say. You have to talk to the people if you really truly want to learn any language, for that matter. You can read and do all the apps and programs all you want to, until you actually start hearing the dialogues and then repeating the phrases. That's when you truly start to learn and pick up on the language. But I have gotten pretty good with having conversational Spanish. But there are times when people speak really fast. And what I mean by that in Spanish, I don't know if you guys notice, but if a word ends in a vowel and the next word in the phrase starts with a vowel, then they just make it one word. And so that's how you have to learn to establish that rapport, that conversation, is by listening, to people speak, and then learning the phrases. Learning vocabulary is great. Grammar, yeah, that's a whole, yeah. I mean, as kids, we didn't learn grammar, to speak English. You just listened to what your parents said and repeated it, pretty much. But anyway, so that I will say has probably been the most difficult part. But Costa Rica as itself is a beautiful place. I wound up teaching there for like 3 years, and that was fun. It's not any different than teaching in the States. Kids are kids. I will definitely say that. They easily distracted. But so that, kind of ran its course. I was like, you know what? Costa Rica is getting a little expensive. It's time for a change. And I had always wanted to visit Nicaragua. And so me, my girl, and my friend, we popped over to Nicaragua and hung out for a little while. And I was like, man, I'm kind of digging this place. The economy is good, the people are good, friendly, outgoing. It's a fraction of the cost of living, in Costa Rica. So I was like, you know what, hey, I'm moving to Nicaragua. So I've been here now pretty much going on like 3 years. Enjoying it. Got residency, bought me a pickup truck. So pretty much my day consists of, getting up in the morning, having my coffee, catching up on a little local news. Don't watch much news in the States because everything there just damn depressing. It's like, what the hell's next? Like, gee. Me and my brother have these conversations all the time, and I'm like, dude, check the fuck out. It's like no need, to inundate yourself with all that negativity that's just going on. But anyway, so yeah, I get up, have my coffee. We'll head off to the gym, work out for about an hour and so. My girl, she'll go, work out at the salon and stuff, and I'll run some errands, and then for the most part, hey, I'm just free, to run to the beach, sit here and chill, smoke a cigar, listen to music. Yeah, it's been very relaxing, very stressful. And I will advise anybody, if they have the opportunity, the means, explore getting out and traveling, living in different cultures, just so you have an understanding that, you know, everything that you hear, see, read about, even somewhat experience, is not all the same in every country. And don't believe everything you hear about certain countries too, because my family always like, you feel safe in Nicaragua? Oh, absolutely. I feel safer here than I do in the States. Now, don't get me wrong. One of the things that's interesting is we talk about, I think a lot of it was brought about by trauma. And what I mean by that, that post-traumatic stress disorder. And you don't have to have served in the military to experience this, growing up in the projects, growing up in the inner city, growing up in a toxic environment. Yeah, it can kind of rub you the wrong way sometimes. It can kind of leave some deep-rooted scars. And you know, and I say that because I just, one of the things about driving in Central America, hey, excuse my ADHD, I bounce all around, I'll change lanes, I'll change highways, but I'll eventually make it back, to the main road, to the main route that I'm on. But anyway, one of the things that I still kind of freak out about is, police. When I see them, I still get a little tense, even though they're nothing what I experienced in the United States. And a lot of my friends, and I have a lot of fraternity brothers that are ex-retired police officers. So no, this ain't no knock on all the police, but they say, hey, there's some bad apples. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, so I still kind of get a little tense riding around, and I see them, and most of the time it's just checkpoints. They just checking, hey, to make sure all your documents are in order. Your vehicle registration, your driver license, your insurance. That's all. It's not like they out to try and get you, but it doesn't matter. I had many years of living in the States of freaking out whenever I saw them. So it's just one of those things. But it's something I'm working on, something getting through, something I'm dealing with. But hey, that's a whole nother issue. But food wise, I would definitely say I feel the best here in Central America, because I honestly can tell you that the food definitely tastes different. Most of the stuff is locally grown, especially the fruits and vegetables. Most of the beef and everything is from here, the poultry, the chickens, eggs. It's fresher, and you can tell. And one of the other things is, all you got to do is when you go to the grocery store, look at some items, because they do have some imported items, but they also have a lot of local items. And you can even just look at a bag of potato chips, and they'll be made by the same company, but one will say export and one will not. And just look at the ingredient. And the one that's from the U.S., you'll see about at least 10 more ingredients in there that really shouldn't be in there. Most of the ingredients here, when you look at a bag of chips, it's going to have potatoes, salt, vinegar, and maybe oil. And that's about it. You're not going to have all these names you got to whip out to Google and check them out and look them up. But anyway, the food is fresh. Most of the people cook everything daily here. They're, in the kitchens early in the morning, cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, the one thing you got to be careful about is that Breakfast here, it's pretty much the same as lunch and dinner. You're gonna get rice, beans, and protein. And I mean, you can get that at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can get some gallo pinto, which is rice and bean mixed, or rice and beans separate, grilled chicken, stewed chicken, beefsteak, whatever. You can eat that for breakfast. You can eat that for lunch, and then you can turn around and eat that for dinner. So you kind of got to be mindful, that yeah, you don't come and start eating. Now, mind you, I've been here in Central America almost 7 years, and I weigh less now than I did when I left the States. Um, I feel a lot better now. I mean, this past year I just turned 60, and I will say I feel probably the best I've felt in many years, as mentally, physically, emotionally. Yeah. So, have I embraced living in Central America? Absolutely. Do I advise other people to explore? Absolutely. Um, and not just Central America. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of other countries that are thriving. Because, like I say, I've probably been, well, I know I've been well over 30 different countries throughout my life. And so, yeah, so I mean, yeah, you see a lot of people going to Asia, South America, Europe, although Europe isn't my favorite just because climate wise, I don't like cloudy, rainy, drizzly, cold. Yeah, I'm not a cold person. I'll take 90 degrees over 50 degrees any day of the week, but that's just me. Some people were like, nah, I can't do it. But, hey, coming, born and raised in, Louisiana and Florida, hey, I'm used to the hot, sticky, at cold climate. Yeah, you can keep that stuff. Been there, done that. But so anyway, what else can I tell you about? Yeah, the experience of moving, it was easy. It did help having, like I say, have visited and stayed for extended periods of time in Costa Rica. It did help having, a childhood friend that I had known for over 40 years. He had already been living there for like 5 years. So it was easy, hey, him and I became roommates and stuff and hung out and, kind of traveled around Costa Rica and stuff like that. So yeah, the other great thing about it is it's central. It's not far from Florida. It's about 2.5 hour plane ride from here to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Before the pandemic, I used to get a round trip ticket for like 200 some dollars. But as all you guys know now, hey, inflation, and after the pandemic, yeah, prices on tickets now for about $500-600 round trip. Still not bad. Still, I can easily get close to home. So that's fine. So I usually try and make it home at least twice a year to to see the kids. They're pretty much grown, to graduate college and doing their own thing. So yeah, I still try and get home at least twice a year to see the family, and I definitely get home at least once a year to hang out and see them and make sure they see me because like I say, a lot of people worry about living in Central America, but trust me, the healthcare system here, it's pretty good. It's basically free. If you want private insurance, it's really inexpensive. I will say maybe 25% of the cost of the U.S., and I'm really overstating the price range. But yeah, you get doctors here make house calls. When the last time you had a doctor spend more than 2 minutes with you in the States, let alone even listen to you. But that's a whole nother episode. I'll talk about the healthcare experiences and all that stuff. But for the most part, though, I've been meaning to make this video for a long time, ever since 2018. And, procrastination, that's all that is. Trying to, that Virgo aspect of me, you want everything perfect. But then it was like, you know what? Hey, just start making videos and just start putting them out there. Start using it. And one of the reasons I've always wanted to do this is because, being a fine arts major, one of the things I used to always teach my students was that find a hobby, because life is stressful, very stressful. So find a hobby. I don't care if it's bike riding, fishing, hiking, drawing, journaling, creating art, whatever, creating music. Just find something that you can pour your energy into to escape the aggravations of day-to-day life, that whole adulting thing, because, yeah, I remember as a teenager, like, oh, man, I can't wait to get 18 so I can get the hell out the house and, have my own place and do what I want and come and go. Yeah, that's a bunch of bull. Yeah, it's like you look back like, yeah, I should stay my ass at home for a little longer because, yeah, this adulting, yeah, it ain't that fun. But anyway, I've ranted and raved enough, at least right now. I'll come back, probably another day, post some more videos, go a little more in depth about living, say, in Central America, definitely living between Costa Rica and Nicaragua. I spent some time in Panama. Panama's nice too, but again, like I say, I'll create another video and really talk about the nuances of living, like, how to buy, a vehicle, what do you need to do and all that, yeah. I'll save all that for other videos and whatnot, but I just wanted to get out and create something so that I can start creating and stop procrastinating. So until the next episode, you guys stay stress free and enjoy life. Later.